Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for the OPTC video, and in today's video, the Pirate Alliance KIZUNA Clash vs VIVI BECCA goes live today at around news time, actually. And I thought I'd quickly put together a sort of walkthrough on how the teams I put out in my short yesterday work for this particular event. Now, this is just a regular 10-star KIZUNA, so it's going to be pretty hard to get to box 7, but obviously super evolving this particular legend is not only going to help in the months prior to anniversary and stuff like that, but it's also going to help out with one of the Grand Voyages. VIVI BECCA is basically required for one of those Grand Voyages, and their 6+ should definitely help out in that particular game mode. Even just like the stat buff is going to give you guys a lot of extra benefits for that particular event. So I didn't know what today was going to look like, so I did a short sort of showcasing the teams already, but I obviously didn't talk about how the teams actually operate. Now, Cerebrals are the name of the game. What's her name? Bonnie and Sabo are the new KIZUNA legend, this particular character right here, as well as a new rare recruit, what's his name? Cobra. So going back to sort of Reverie, which makes sense because obviously VIVI BECCA are getting the 6+. But if you have this particular character, he's going to help out quite a bit. Here is Paralysis and Special Blind, which is really, really nice. And then if you can find a friend captain of Sabo and Bonnie, it's going to help out immensely because they have this ability where you can select a character for partial immunity for 3 turns. So basically what this means is you can avoid, like the Toki Toki effect, you can basically avoid any debuff like Blow Away, Despair, Blind. So if you have this character as a friend captain, it's going to make your life a lot easier. But in today's video, I've not taken into consideration, or how do I word this? Basically, you can use any friend captain. It doesn't matter if you can find a Sabo and Bonnie friend captain or not, because no matter what happens, you can still run these particular teams. Whether you run like the double leader that I am using, or you just bring any other Cerebral-based leader, you are going to be in for a good time. So Cerebral Slashers and Powerhouse characters get all the good stuff on the Int variation. On Battle 2, there is 6 turns of Despair after sockets. You get Hunger, and then there is a Intimidation for Set Chain Multiplier, which will get reduced by 1 turn, and this Intimidation is for 2 turns. After level 30, which all these teams are designed for, you have to deal with a bunch of very nasty stuff. VIVI BECCA is immune to defeat specials, percent damage, regular stuff, but weak to cerebral characters. The preemptive gives you a 90% attack down if you're below a 6x chain. You also lose all your beneficial effects. Your right-hand column gets block orbs, your left-hand column gets paralysis orbs. Full immunity except the weakening status, a 90%, well, it's a top middle. Yeah, it's just basically half block, half paralysis orbs. You guys get the vibes. There is a damage threshold where you can only do 90% of the enemy's max HP on the first turn. Normal attacks only, special binds, more intimidation, and a slot barrier for 2 tandem slots. So very annoying stuff there. Plus, if you use any chain multiplier boost, addition, anything like that, there is an interrupt where you lose your top right character for 2 turns. So as you can tell, this is where they really want you to use the special of Sabo and Bonnie. You apply that to your captain, and then you can just use your chain multiplier buffs to get it past that 6x chain. After 1 turn, which will happen because of the damage limiter, you have to deal with your captain being blinded for 6 turns and your captain's getting despaired. So very annoying stuff because they want you to, again, use the special of what's the name of Sabo and Bonnie to apply it to both of your captains, so that way you can bypass this. But if you are running 1, you're still going to have to deal with that despair no matter what. Your top left character gets slot bound, and then there's normal attacks only, which there should already be, but look, it is what it is. So team put together looks like this. We are running Shanks as our captain. Shanks is basically the best cerebral leader. The upside to Shanks as well is he actually sets your ship special to max at the start of the quest, which allows us to use the Oro Jackson at level 12. The Oro Jackson special can remove 2 turns of paralysis and 2 turns of blind. It also gives you a final tap buff, so no matter what, you can actually apply this. Because you remove paralysis, it actually rotates the paralysis orbs, which is really, really nice. Downside is if you are running a friend captain, Jewelry, Bonnie, and Sabo, it's not actually going to buff that particular character. On turn 2, you have to deal with some despair. That's where this Uta character comes in. Uta's great because she buffs the super type, or super EX I should say, of Shanks. She's one of the requirements. With her special, if you set defense to 0, she removes 2 turns of Bind and Despair. And then if you use her special again, she removes another 2 turns of Bind and Despair, as well as if your enemy has defense down, she increases it by another 2 turns. So all up, you're getting 6 turns of Despair removal, which is exactly what you need for turn 2. And then Shanks has the hunger removal in his kit, so he can actually remove that, and basically you're off to the races. You shouldn't need anything else after that. Moving on to the final stage, we're going to use the Yamato special. Yamato is awesome because she can actually remove 7 turns of any debuff, which means you can actually remove the attack down below a certain chain, and not even have to worry about bringing a chain multiplicative buff with this particular team, because you are utilizing, what's her name? You are utilizing the Yamato special to remove that. With Shanks' EX, you can give yourself an orb buff, which is really, really nice. Shanks' special is also going to remove the barrier for 3 turns and give you full body sight orbs. Not worried about this chain multiplicative buff, because again, remember, if you use any chain multiplicative buff, you are going to have to deal with a blow-away on your top right-hand character. You could probably do some stuff with the Toki effect if you really wanted to here. Definitely just run Toki over Sabo. Sabo's here to remove the special bind, and then you could just like bring another, like, say Sabo as a friend captain to remove the special bind there. But he also gives you that territory for Cerebrals, as well as the advantageous type effect, for class effect, I should say. So this way you have type advantage and class advantage, and you are hitting very, very hard. Finally, we have Roger and Newgate. Roger and Newgate, they are the final character we need for the Shanks EX. Shanks' EXs can actually remove the intimidation, which is really, really nice. Not that we really need it, but like you can just use it to get around that. Shanks gives you the orb buff. The super swap of Roger and Newgate on turn 1 of the final stage is going to give you an attack buff, and then you can switch again, use their special to increase the color affinity and increase their attack boost to a 3 times attack boost. Remove the despair that way. If you guys don't have this Uta, the free play Uta, you can replace this Uta with Luffy, or you could even replace Roger Newgate with the Super Tandem Luffy, the Dex one. So this is the team we're going to be going with. We have that Perispera support to lock orbs for cerebral characters, and then we have the Ace support just for a bit of a chain boost on the first turn. We don't have any like Super Tandem shenanigans here, unfortunately. Sabo does need 2 characters that aren't on this team. Again, if you wanted to, you could probably replace this Uta down here with a Luffy character, and then replace the friend captain with another Luffy, for example, or even something like a, I don't know, Robin Koala, I don't know, something like that, to easily get around that. But this is what I'm going to be going with. Remember, this is not exactly like big ass damage teams, but it will still give you some pretty nice damage output for a lot of these fights, because you're not really going to get past level 30. You probably want to bring some sort of damage reduction. You could even just throw like Mr. 3 support on for damage reduction, as Yamato is not going to have her EX either. Yamato needs 3 of the following characters, which is a lot. That way she gives the 80% damage reduction. So like, realistically, if you want more damage with this team, like you could just slap on like the Mr. 3 support. And that's going to give you that damage reduction conversion effect that she does on the first turn as well. But realistically, she's just here to bypass the attack down below a certain chain. You could easily replace her with Shiroshi Manchuri V1 as well. That's another really, really good character that would definitely work for this particular team. Or you could even use the Sai Straw Hats. Actually, now that I'm looking at this team, you could definitely use the Sai Straw Hats, and then you could replace like Uta, or you could replace Roger Newgate with someone else. That's definitely going to work out. What do the Sai Straw Hats actually even do? Because that's a Luffy character, and I think they remove 5 turns of any debuff as well. What are they called? Straw Hats? Yeah, okay. They're a free spirit fighter. I don't know if they get cooldowns. Let's favorite them up. They give you an attack boost, which is great. Type advantage, which is great. They give you damage reduction, and then it says down here they should be able to remove 5 turns of any selected buff. So that's another good character you can use. But Shiroshi Manchuri, I believe, is probably the next best option if you guys are missing that Yamato. Yeah, they're not getting the cooldowns, so they're probably not going to work there. But like I said, that's the team that I'm going to go with. Let's move on to the next fight against the quick variation, which again, the recommended characters are the 2 new characters. Slashers, Cerebrals, Fighters get all the good stuff. On turn 2, you get a 50% HP cut. Strength characters get 10 turns of bind. There's 2 turns of all type ores becoming unfavorable slots. And then all your top row characters will get block slots, and then there's a slot barrier for recovery orbs. On the final stage after level 30, because these teams are designed for that, VIVI Becca have all the blow-away shenanigans, weak to Cerebrals. They remove your beneficial effects, give you more special bind paralysis. Your captains get 20 turn of bind. So your friend captain, sorry, gets 20 turns. So 17 turns of bind. That's a lot of bind, man. It's a lot of bind. And then the status effect immunity for except for weakened, and then your captain is going to get despaired. The bind does trigger first though, so you can use Shanks, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. There's also a 300,000 death hit, which is very, very nasty. So what I'm doing here is we're using either double Shanks to bypass the bind, or if you bring a friend captain, Sabo, and Koala, You can use the Sabo Koala, not Sabo Koala, I don't know why I'm doing that. Sabo and Jewelry Bonnie. You can use that special to apply to your friend captain, and then you bypass that blind moving into the final stage. We have Roger here as a attack booster, I think. I think Roger's the attack booster for this team. He's also my Super Tandem character. With Slasher Captain, he gives an attack boost for 2.75, which is really, really nice. And then we have the Usopp support on Luffy to rotate the unfavorable orbs into recovery on turn 2, and then we should be able to just kill pretty easily. This way we can save the Shanks special for the final stage. Shanks is going to bypass the blind, you take the 50% HP cut, and then you have to deal with the block slots, the recovery barrier and stuff like that. Your sailors will have those recovery orbs, and what you can actually do here is you can, if you're running double Shanks and then Luffy, you can actually use the Roger special on turn 2, because you should have enough damage reduction moving into the final stage anyway. But Roger's great because he's an attack booster and gives you 95% damage reduction. Just works fantastically. Sabo here, again, for special blind. You don't have this Sabo, you can actually replace this Sabo with the anniversary Sabo from the ASL batch, the quick Sabo. He's also going to give you chain boundary. We have color affinity with Shanks, orb boosting with Shanks. We have the despair removal with this Luffy. Make sure to use the EX of Shanks first to get his orb buff, and then he'll actually turn this Luffy into a cerebral character, which is really, really cool. So then you should hit very, very hard. If you are running double Shanks, you'll have chain boundary with your second Shanks. And then finally, we have the paralysis removal with Nami and Karina. I did bring Nami and Karina too, because they're another character that can give damage reduction at 70%. But now that I'm looking at it, you could probably just swap this character out for like anyone else that's going to give you like a really good buff. That also removes paralysis, that's ideally a Dex character. You kind of want them to be either slashers or cerebrals. So you have like Corazon there, you could bring this particular Zoro, you could even bring Crocodile, you have Nami and Robin as a bigger orb booster, if you guys wanted to do something like that. You could probably use Odin Kinemon Dentro as well. Just remember, if you are running Bonnie and Sabo, they do buff Dex characters as well. So you basically have a selection of all these particular units, and you can do some pretty fun stuff with all of them. As I'm sort of looking here, I can't remember. I'll slap Crocodile on for now. I can't remember what Bonnie and Sabo do. Do they do chain boundary? Yeah, they do. They do chain boundary, and then they also do spare removal. So, yeah, like I said, if you can bring this character as a friend captain, it's just going to make your life so much easier. Plus, it's going to give you extra drops. Not that you're going to need it, because again, well, actually, yeah, like you're going to want it, but hell, you could bring like Morley and Karasu. Morley and Karasu is pretty fun. That gives you another character for the Sabo EX as well. Does that trigger the Sabo EX? Yeah, then you could use the Sabo EX whenever you like as well. But again, Morley and Karasu, they're a treasure map legend that a lot of people probably missed. Let's just use Crocodile for now, because like, why the fuck not? If you use Crocodile on turn 2, actually, you get chain boundary for 3 turns, which is kind of fun if you're not bringing your friend captain Sabo and Bonnie. But double Shanks is just going to work amazingly because you can just remove the barrier on turn 2. But again, I've made these teams to be either used with the new legend or without the new legend. But let me know what you guys are using in the comment section below, way down there, but like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.